Alrighty, here we go. Jumping on. I'm still setting up. I'm literally just sat down about 2 minutes ago. Okay. Let me gather myself here. I apologize. I have, this is, anybody with a big beard will know that this is mask beard. I had a mask on for a short time before, and I now have mask beard. So it looks like I have two smiles. So this is a extra happy beard for tonight. I didn't even look in the mirror. I'm even more of a mess than usual. Okay, like I said, just sat down. Nothing like rushing into things. Let me get a sip of water here. Catch up real quick. Alrighty. Okay, take a deep breath and let's get this thing started. I'm still getting over my shingles. Every time I think that I'm over them, I overdo it and then I set myself back. But I'm definitely moving in the right direction. Still a lot of pain. So again, whatever your thoughts are on the vaccine, but I would highly recommend not getting the shingles because they are no fun. Other than that, my son had a good day today. My family had a good day today. That's the important thing. A lot of good energy in the house. A lot of good things with us. A lot of good things with people around us. Just a good energy time, and it's feeling good, and it's good to be back here. Glad to be doing this again. And what's that? Hang on, okay, something. Instagram is telling me something. They're telling me about more followers. Okay, thank you, Instagram. I don't know what that means, but Instagram is doing me a favor and telling more followers about me. So, so again, today, if you haven't seen, if you look at my stories, you can see with Colin O'Reilly. I was on he did his very first IG live today. A paranormal lunch with Colin. That was a lot of fun. And again, it was great to see in a certain way. I think I kind of inspired him to get started today. So just watching him do that and a lot of things that he's got going and he's going to attempt stand up, it inspired me. So it just comes full circle. Again, it doesn't matter how many people see this, how many people don't see this. As long as it affects one person, if it touches one person, if somebody gets something really good out of the story or whatever, then that's all that I can ask for. I'm going to be bringing somebody on very shortly. We've been connected for quite some time now. I've been a fan of his work. We're going to talk about, he's done some comedy stuff, a YouTube thing on Bill Burr, absolutely amazing. And then now I'm a car person, of course, and I love everything about cars, great, and especially great cinematography. So if you ever see like those amazing angles of a car moving or driving or with the cameras or anything like that, he was doing a lot of stuff like that, and now he's working with a lot of big names, and he's got some big news too, that as soon as we get him on here, we'll share it with you. Let me see if he is around yet. I don't see Greg in the chat yet, but we shall see. Okay, yeah, the shirt is absolutely awesome. A little Robin Williams action. He has a little gray hair, thanks to me. But one of the greats, truly missed. And again, too, also a great story with Robin Williams and a lot of what comedy is. Comedy is a comedian's way of dealing with life and dealing with pain. I don't say this in a bad way. I kind of say this in a good way, but I believe that some of the best comedians, and I think all comedians are really kind of screwed up. And I don't say that in a malicious way. I say that in a way that I think when you learn to laugh at your pain and the craziness in your life, it makes your life easier. So I think crazy people that learn that, I think it's a great secret. So if you have a lot of pain in your life, you're probably crazy. Try some comedy. Maybe it'll help you out. That's some advice that I can give you there. Going on 8:35 here. Again, this is what we do. I'm waiting for Greg to jump on in here, but we'll keep on talking until he does. I'm gonna take a sip of water because, again, it was just one of those days that was literally nonstop, and I sat down right before I started this. But that's the way it goes, and that's the fun of this. Again, I'm not doing this to be picked up by any big platforms or anything like that. I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this for good energy. And pretty much that's That's what it's all about. And make sure you drink your water every day. I topped this off before, so I did. I drank all my water every day. But make sure you drink your water every day. Enough. All right, I got hearts for drinking water. Whoever gave me the hearts for drinking water. I thank you. See, that's an amazing thing. I'm absolutely grateful for hearts for drinking water. I feel like I don't know what I feel like, but it's a wonderful feeling. Are you making? Yes, absolutely. T800 Ruben, you are without a doubt one of those people who's been stuck in my head for the past year. I would definitely like to say that and thank you, and I would definitely like to talk to you again. Definitely one of those people who, when we babbled, create every day. Create every day, I believe, is something that you said. Stay hydrated, but create every day was something that stuck in my head. And even over the past year, when I've been through some dark times and I wasn't thinking about doing this at all again, I still pretty much tried to create something every day. Whether it was a meme for myself, whether it was some sort of art, that stuck in my head. So again, thank you for being there for me, even if you didn't know that you were there for me. Thank you. Create every day. I say that to a lot of people now. Create every day. It's a wonderful thing. It keeps your mind sharp, and it keeps you going. And it keeps you happy too, because if you do, and again, you can do it on any level. Like I said, I may create a meme, I may create a Photoshop, I may draw something for my son, I may help my daughter with an art project, I may just doodle something, stupid for my wife, just something silly. But as long as you're creating something, that's what it's all about. I see Greg is here. Greg, I've been babbling for way too long. They've been getting tired, so I'm going to bring you in so we can actually have a real, because I'm sure they're getting tired of my banter here. So hopefully Greg will join us, and we're going to have a heck of a babble tonight, because there's a lot of interesting stuff with this gentleman who's going to be coming in shortly. There we go.
Hey,
What's going on, sir?
how's it going?
How are you doing, man?
Am I cut off here?
Yeah, once you go to this split screen thing, you got to like readjust.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
No worries.
there you go.
Cool.
Turn my volume up, make sure it's up all the way.
I've never done one of these before.
That's all we're doing is talking. That's all we're doing is
Sounds
talking.
good.
And we got a lot to talk about too. Now to start off with, we've been connected for a while through Instagram, haven't we?
Yeah, I think so.
Does it go back to the Mr. Beanmobile page?
I think it was somebody I was connected with who saw one of the comedian videos I put out, referred me to you, and I'd known about you as well because I'd seen I did one on Donnell, and there was, he always references you and your your ability to create the amazing memes. So, yeah. So I think that was like a year and a half ago, something like that. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, and it's the thing that I'm really excited about tonight is, again, like I said, I kind of took a year off from this. I kind of got away from it. I kind of went through, but I've been seeing things. I've been seeing good energies. That's what it's always about.
Yeah.
And your story, because I've seen you, like I said, you started doing like the car videos, absolutely amazing, and then you started getting some really, really amazing connections with the car videos. The Bill Burr YouTube video,
yeah,
probably one of the greatest things that I've ever. And like I said, I'm a
thank you
comedy
so
person.
much.
I love everything about comedy. I love the history. I love the behind. I mean, I enjoy watching stand up as much as everybody else, but I love more. And what you gave was story behind this thing, behind the scenes of like one thing that was this giant story that was absolutely amazingly done.
Well, thank you so much.
It's it's one of those things when you see something, you say something, and it's like, okay, this guy is going to be huge. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You can see the work that you did with the Bill Burr thing. Like I said, the car work that you're doing. And then tell me about what you sent me in the message the other day about what's next.
Oh yeah. Well, first of all, thank you. That's very sweet. I don't think I've ever been complimented like that before. So I appreciate it.
You deserve it.
Thank you, man. Really, seriously. Yeah, so I'm finally taking the plunge, leaving my full-time job and doing this kind of stuff full time. I see my buddy German Motors in the chat there. He's he's got an amazing shop, and we've been doing some really incredible video work there.
Was that where you were today? With the
Yeah,
yeah, oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. We picked up his car, which was getting a wrap job and a whole livery that's like branded off of his shop, and it came out so amazing. It looks so good. And we're filming a little vlog too. So we have a YouTube channel, German Motors, and we're creating content, vlog style content, car experiment style stuff, and posting that and growing our channel. So been going really well.
So
So
now say that again. Where can we find that?
it's German Motors on YouTube,
German Motors on YouTube.
and then the logo is just it's green and white GM, because I think there's a couple of German Motors that are on YouTube, so we're trying to set ourselves apart, you know.
But
That's
they
cool.
can find them. Was that them that was on here before that popped in?
Yeah, I think he joined in before. My buddy Mo, he's the owner of the shop. He's a
So they
really
can
good guy.
they can check through his link right there.
Yeah,
German
yeah,
Motors. Okay,
absolutely, yeah,
cool.
yeah,
Cool.
really
Yeah,
good
really.
stuff.
I just love, like I said, I live vicariously through a lot of people. I don't get out much, you know, with my son and everything like that.
Mm,
We're going on our third year of pretty much lockdown
mm,
for his health reasons.
right.
So I live vicariously through people, and like I said, it's like your videos, like the car videos. I just sit and I can just watch those over and over, and you know, just being a car guy. I mean, like it's like, you know, like the videos of like the Ferraris, like with the camera on the back, and all, you know,
Mm.
like, all you hear and see is the exhaust. It's like my wife will tell you, she'll be like, okay, that's enough already. Like, how many times are you gonna watch it? I'm just like, every time it revs, you don't understand. I do that, you know.
I get that too. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. Um, yeah, so I actually have some questions for you. Um, I so what got you into doing these lives? Like, what are they all about?
That's very interesting because my wife and I were just having a conversation about that. I think that I got into it kind of looking to go like a podcast route to turn it into something like that, look for sponsorship, this, that, the other thing. And then when I stopped a year ago, I stopped basically because I was having nonstop Wi-Fi issues in the house.
Oh,
And
okay.
I couldn't, I had some really great interviews. I had some really great guests on that we couldn't get through 2 minutes because
Mm,
everything was just a problem. So it became frustrating and I gave it up. And then towards the end of last year, we got the Wi-Fi fixed.
mm,
And I was like, okay, I'll start it back up, you know. And then it was like, okay, holidays are coming, or maybe after the new year. And then it was like, okay, I need to just get back into it again. And the reason why that I'm getting back into it again is because of there's certain people. A gentleman, Colin, I was on his first live today,
mm.
uh, and it was the fact of realizing that when I did that, like he would reach out to me every now and then, like, hey, when are you doing it again? Like I need it. It's like, and it's like I touch people like that, you know,
Yeah,
like, and you realize that's more important than any platform or sponsorship. And
yeah,
it's just the fact of getting back on here and having a great conversation with someone who's interesting, someone who's got something to inspire. And that's what you have. You have a story to inspire.
yeah. I resonate with that a lot. You know, I was just talking to someone about this myself, like having somebody who can kind of meet you with that energy like that you have, and you know, I was so grateful for just that you even watched the video that I put out. You know, I was just kind of sending it out to people, and you like not only watched it, but you're like gave me like feedback, and that meant so much, you know. And of course, like all the kind words that you send, it's so important for, I think, not just people in general, but especially like creative people. I think creative people are the most insecure people on the planet. Um, because like just of the nature of your work, and what you're making and what you're putting out is just an extension of you to a degree. So like when you can validate that for someone, it means so much. Um, and then also you know, you just kind of like you lift people up and you give them the ability to like take risks or do certain things that they might not otherwise do. Like I was just talking to someone before I hopped on here about how, like, you know, I was able to make the decision to leave based on a lot of factors, but one of the big ones was I got so much positive feedback from just completely unconnected people in my life. Like, you know, initially when I made the jump, I was like, oh, this is kind of a little scary. Like, maybe I shouldn't have done this. Even though I know, like, objectively I'll be fine. There's still like this feeling of free fall that's like not the best feeling. And when you tell people, and I remember I told just a friend of mine, and I was just like, uh, I feel a little anxious, not gonna lie. And she was like, this is what you got to do. Like, this is, you're made to do this. You have to do it. So, yeah, it feels great.
It's one of those things where you know when you found your thing.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
you have to, and you said, you know, insecurity is a huge thing, but
Yeah.
when you know in your heart that, okay, this is it, I have to go for it.
Yeah.
Of course there's going to be stumbles, but again, the first step is the hardest step. And I
Yeah.
mean,
And yeah, sorry. You have to ask yourself, it's like, is it worth it to continue being miserable, or is it worth it to just kind of try, at least try? And I think if you're able to like, if you're able to analyze and kind of make yourself okay with the worst case scenario, you're able to do pretty much anything. And that's something that I've learned that's just been such a invaluable skill to have. Um,
that's
is
I've never heard that way of looking at it. Yeah,
Yeah,
picture the worst case scenario and go, okay, if that's the worst, we'll figure a way to get through that. That's wow.
yeah. I think a lot of I think I mean, I don't want to generalize, but I think a lot of people um, you know, they'll kind of have this feeling in their gut of like something that's scary or uncomfortable that maybe they're wanting to do. They know they should do it, but like something's holding them back. And I think a lot of people don't really um, pursue or like look deeper into what that feeling is. And I don't know, there's just something about it. Like when you have that feeling, it's meant to be analyzed and looked at and is to explore it. Like, what is it that I'm actually afraid of? Like, what is the worst thing that can happen? But also, what's like the best thing that can happen? And if you can, like I said, you know, if you can become okay with the worst thing, then you can basically do anything. And at least try, because that, to me personally, like that's really important to me. Is like I'd rather try, and this definitely took me a lot of like time and like personal reflection and stuff to get to, but like I'd rather try and fail than never try at all,
Yeah,
you know? So,
yeah. That's a very valuable lesson, and I think a lot of people are just afraid to fail. And
yeah. Or succeed. Some people are afraid to succeed too.
you're absolutely right. That
Yeah.
is a scary thing because you do see as things change and circles change and things. A lot of people do. They really just cannot deal with it.
Right.
It is a difficult thing.
Yeah. It's change. People are afraid of change.
Yes.
And yeah. And that's a big thing. I spent a lot of time I guess studying psychology and self-help at the darker parts of my life, and it's helped and give me tools to do certain things. And yeah, grateful
Yeah.
for it
I
always.
think you have to have those little things in your head. Those little, you know, like when things are not going right or it looks like it's going to go wrong, you have to be able to go to that one thing that's going to almost kind of trick you, like, hey, it's going to be okay. Listen, you know, you got through this. It was kind of, you know, or you know somebody that was already through something like this. And that's the thing that I've been reminding myself a lot more too, just with this too. And this is simple. And again, like even like tonight, I was running around. There was a lot going on in the house
Mm,
and chaos. And it was like, all I have to do is put my phone in this holder, turn the light on, and sit down. It's not that
hmm
hard, Andy.
mm.
It's really not. And then you're going to have a great conversation and you're going to have a great time. It's
Yeah,
easy. talk yourself out of things. And
Yeah.
again, I know like that's like the mentality that I need to use too. Like when I need to start getting back out and getting on stage again.
Mm.
Millions of people do it every damn day. You know,
Yeah.
again, do it. Millions of people take a chance every day. Why can't it be me today?
Yeah.
Why? You know.
And I'm assuming you're talking about stand up.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I actually wanted to ask you about that too. Like, have you done comedy? Because that is very scary, and exactly what we're talking about applies to it so much. So, like, when did you get into stand up?
I was it's a wonderful story, and Donnell Rawlings tells it the absolute best. He bullied me. He called me up. This goes back a couple of years. He called me up. I think it was after Thanksgiving sometime, and he said, "Got a show the end of December, Caroline's, 4 nights, 6 shows. You got I think 3 minutes." He said, "You got 3 minutes," and then he hang up the phone. Literally hung up the phone. Hung up the phone. And I'm like, well, he's like, you're getting on stage because we had talked about it, and I said that I, wanted to do an open mic and instead,
Mm.
so he's like, there's your open mic, and I'm just like, no, and then like
Throw
I
you
would
to the
call,
deep end.
yeah, and like
I
I
like
would
it.
hit him up like a week or two before. I'd be like, do you want to at least hear what I'm working on? Nope. Like even like the day of, I'm like, do you even care what he's like, nope. Like get up there and just do it. And that's all it was. You
Yeah.
got my first time on stage was at Caroline's, and it was a Caroline's weekend. And I mean, it was.
Wow.
You want to talk about an instant addiction though, because after that it became. And I don't want to say this in an insulting way or a demeaning way. I don't
Mm.
like the way it sounds, but it became very easy to do open mics after that because my first times on stage
Yeah.
were Caroline's, and the Friday and Saturday nights were sold out crowds, and it was, and I saw smiles, I heard laughter. Once you get that, you never want to not do that again.
I've heard that. Yeah. Yeah.
It's amazing. So before the pandemic started, I was that January, I was out and about, I was hitting open mics constantly. That was my year. That was my year.
Mm.
The world shut down, and here I am. I mean, I'm still writing every now and then, but like I said, I
Well,
live
yeah.
vicariously through your videos, so it's.
Well, I have a couple thoughts. Firstly, that's very interesting that your first time was at Caroline's because I think we kind of share something slightly in common. My first official time, because I have done stand up before, my first official time was at Gotham.
Oof.
That was, yeah. Luckily, I did perform like a couple of open mics before jumping into Gotham. um, Man, it was rough. That was back in college. I took a stand up there. My college was offering a stand up course, and I was like super into like Rogan's podcast and a bunch of other like comedian podcasts. I was like, you know what? Might as well try it. It's a free credit, whatever. And our final exam was we had to go up and do 5 minutes at Gotham in front of like all of our friends and family, and it was absolutely terrifying. Um, so I prepared by going to the Stress Factory, like 2 or 3 open nights or open mic nights in a row, and just eating shit on stage. I learned very quickly that I cannot drink before I go on stage. It's an absolute no-no for me. Uh, and Yeah, I need to edit myself better. I crammed an essay into like 5 minutes about how I think I don't remember my material exactly, but it was full of like impressions. I think I did an Alex Jones impression at one point, and it was all about how like the Force from Star Wars is actually just invisible butt sex, and that like if Star Wars were real life, like gay people would have superpowers, and they'd be able to like fly everywhere, and like I don't know. It was awful, absolutely terrible, so bad. but
But
uh,
that
but
that
so glad I
that's
did it.
listen, that's the thing, and that's where you learn. It's that I would always, that was the one thing I was constantly asked Donnell, can you give me some advice once I started doing the open mics and doing my thing? Would nope. He would say the same thing. He said it's the same advice that he got from a lot of big comedians. The mic. The mic will teach you everything you need to know. You just got to get up there and you got to just try it. And I see Colin's on here, and Colin's going to be started doing his first open mic very soon.
Oh, very cool.
And I mean, it's You just got to get up there and you just have to do it as
Yeah.
hard as it is. And the first time, listen, first time is tough. The first
Hmm.
time is always tough.
So
Uh,
scary.
like
I
my
can't imagine what it was like for you going up on at Caroline's. Like mine was like six, Joe Schmoes at the Stress Factory in New Brunswick.
mine mine wasn't too bad because what like I said, I had 3 minutes, so I had a couple of jokes
Still.
I didn't want to. I went with a quick story. I went with a quick story of hanging out
Okay.
with Donnell and getting high with Donnell.
That's
So
cool.
it was kind of like a quick story joke with a lot of so it was easy.
Yeah.
But then once you actually start working material, you think you write 5 minutes worth of material, and then you get up on
Hmm.
stage and you don't have 5 minutes worth of material.
Hmm.
It's it
Very
changes up.
true.
The world changes up there. But again, that's where you learn it, and that's where you just have to just get up there and just have fun with it.
Yeah.
And once I actually started doing my material, it was very interesting because I got up there, and a lot of my jokes are about my son,
Mm.
special needs child. He goes through a lot. We go through a
Mm.
lot. They're deep, they're dark, they're personal.
Hmm.
And to tell those jokes, even like at Caroline's, like the next year when I went back, and worked my material there, I'll never forget the first time that like Donnell saw my material like that. When I came off, he looked at me and he was just shaking his head and he was like, "They have to love you to be able to laugh at those jokes."
Mm.
It's one of those things where if anyone else were to tell my jokes, they would be offensive and they would not
Hmm.
go over well. But I'm telling you how I get through my day with
Mm.
laughter. And if I can laugh at it, if we can laugh at it in my house, I'm allowing you to laugh with me, and it's okay.
Mm.
And again, that's a problem. People are afraid to laugh at things. When I tell
Mm.
you, we laugh at everything in this house, like the worst stuff you could imagine. We
Hmm.
make jokes about, and my daughter. Oh my God, I love my daughter. She has become the most sarcastic, quick-witted person in the house, and it's amazing. I mean, that's how we get through it.
That's so important. It's I think I don't think there's a lot of utility in sitting in negativity. I think a lot of people, especially now, some people just I-
Can you say that
yeah,
again? Because there's about sitting in negativity. Could you say that again?
yeah, I think a lot of people just tend to sit they I don't think there's any utility in sitting in negativity. I think when you experience any kind of emotion, really, it's meant to be utilized. It's meant to be digested and kind of put forth in some way. And for people like you and me, like we're very creative people. So when we feel an emotion, it has to come out some way. For you, it comes out in your comedy. For me, it comes out in writing or music or whatever. And I think that's a healthy way to, I don't know what the word is. I guess digest is the right word. To use it in some way, because otherwise it's going to come out in other ways that you don't want it to. Um, it's partially what therapy is for a lot of people, is like that negative energy is now coming out. It's coming out of your mouth in words. That's one way to get it out. Some people write in a journal. Um, but for us, I think, or anyone who's creative, obviously, there's also something nice about being able to funnel it into something that potentially someone else can relate to and enjoy. You know what I mean?
Is that not the greatest feeling in the world? When you
It's
know that
great, yeah.
when something that you created is bringing joy to someone somewhere in the world. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just an amazing feeling, knowing that I put a smile on someone's face today.
Yeah.
You can't beat that.
No, you absolutely cannot. It's a really great feeling. I think it's so important. So important. Um that's great. So about your comedy, you said you're continuing to write.
Yes.
So have you tried adapting it for like short form content, like on Instagram or TikTok or that sort of thing?
Again, now that I'm finally coming out of my dark hole, that's actually something that I've been thinking. I've been thinking, do I need
Mm,
to go to like a TikTok platform? Do I need to do some? I mean,
I
listen,
think you should.
I'm a very animated, stupid person. I could easily do well on TikTok, and I know I could, but it's just I don't know like what to do, or and again too, like you said, it's there's so many different directions, and now this is kind of new. How does comedy work into that? You know, I'm trying to figure out what the next step is, how to continue. Because like I said, I'm stuck in the house, and I still want to get my comedy out to the world. So I have to figure out how to get my comedy out to the world from being stuck in this house.
So I think the positive thing, and just for clarity, this is what I do for a living, is I kind of consult people on how to do content and that sort of thing. And I'd love to help you. I think you have a lot of positive things in your favor, and I think that this could be a very good thing. I think it's going to take some time to work on and some time to like get into the flow of like, okay, this is working, this isn't. And that's just how everybody has to go through, right? It's a lot of experimentation. But once you get it, I think just on the surface, and I hate using this word, but I think you have a good brand, which would lend itself very well to content, or this form of content rather, like short form content, and especially physicality. That's a very important thing for short form content and the people who kind of watch this sort of thing on a very regular basis.
Mr. Bean is everything in our house. So of course, anybody who knows Mr. Bean comedy, I mean, there's no spoken word. It's all physical. It's all facial. It's all, I mean, that's, you know, my son is a deaf mute, so everything is silent. Everything is silent comedy in this house. That's how we get through it. So it's painful. My body's taken a beating over the years. I still hear myself on a daily basis just to make my son laugh. Walk into things, drop things. It's what we do. It's, you know, it's silly, it's stupid, jumping around, acting like a kid, which I'm not. And like I said, I'll have to take extra Advil tonight. But as long as we're laughing, that's what's important.
That's yeah, you're like perfectly cut out for this, honestly. Like I really mean that. I think the thing you should focus on is like short, sweet, fast, and punchy. That's how I would do it. So whatever that means for like what you're creating, I'd say put it through that lens, and that's how you're gonna do well.
We are definitely going to have. We're definitely going to continue this conversation probably at a later time. Yeah, because like I said, I'm ready to go. That's the thing. Like I said, I took a year off. I needed the year off. I mean, sometimes you need to shut down. I got too long. I'm back and I'm ready to go. And again, I need to do this for me. And that's something I learned from a very good friend of mine who I'm going to hopefully have on tomorrow, Marshall Brandon, an amazing comedian. And he's taught me a lot about comedy, but he's taught me a lot more about life and comedy, and about how getting up on that stage, how you think it's for an audience, but it's really for you. There is no therapy like being on that stage. Once you realize, okay, let me dig deep down and let me get the stuff that I don't talk to anybody about. Let me get the stuff that no one even knows about that's even bothering me. Let me pull that up. Let me turn that into a joke. Let me get some laughter, and that's going to heal that scar.
I totally see that. I can totally understand that. It's very interesting. I don't know if I would call myself a spiritual person, at least up until like this year, when just things like that just make so much sense because you feel them in practice in some way, some form or another in your own life, and you feel it like subjectively. So that makes a ton of sense. So what was how did you meet Donnell?
Memes.
Through memes. Okay.
Memes. I was I had I was doing a lot with the Mr. Bean Mobile account, and then I wanted to do more comedy, and the Mr. Bean Mobile account, you know, was pretty much all about the car and my son.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do more comedy, and I knew my comedy was going to be a little bit darker and deeper, and I didn't want to intertwine the two, so I created the Bearded Humor, and I started doing a lot of stuff on there, and I was sending my stuff, and I mean I was very lucky in the beginning. I had people like Dane Cook posting my stuff up.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like amazing, and like I was constantly, and I still do. There's still comedians out there to this day that don't know that their inbox is full of my memes.
Well, didn't you just get reposted by Fat Joe?
Yes, yeah, actually got posted by Fat Joe. That was
great.
and again, it was I had sent him this goes way back. It was, I think he's good friends with Usher Donnell, and
Mm.
Usher had just had a video out, and he had posted up something like, "Damn, I wish I was in this video." And as soon as I saw it, I immediately took a picture of him and I put it in, and within like 2 minutes, I had sent it to him. And
Mm.
that's what got him was, wow, this speed. That's why I'm gratefully known as the king of too soon. I see something and I write. I guess I write a joke in a picture first. I
Okay.
think I think that's the way I write my jokes first. Is I think I physically see my jokes,
Mm.
and then turn it into picture, or I'll write it down.
That's
Um,
interesting.
and it just became one of those things. And then it was funny. It was a short time after we were going back and forth. He said, "Keep sending them." He started following me. I think he started learning about my family and stuff like that. And it wasn't too long after that. It was my son's birthday, uh, and I remember I didn't even know my wife had invited him, and he was in New York that weekend. But I knew that he was going back to California the
Mm.
day of my son's birthday, and so I didn't expect anything. And I remember my son's birthday, and we got some people over having a good time, and I get a phone call, and he's, "Where the hell's your house? I can't find it." And I'm like, "What?" And it was
Wow.
things where he came in. We spent some time, and then we spent some time alone talking.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where within minutes we connected, and we still have that connection. He just called me up about 2 hours ago with something, and just the energy exchange. I feed off of him, he feeds off of me, and it's great that we're getting that back, because I know I was definitely in a low. He
Mm.
has been in a low, but it's great that his energy is getting me back. I'm able to give
Mm.
energy back to him, and it's just one of those things. Like I said, I wasn't a believer in energy and all that kind of stuff until a couple of years ago too.
Mm.
And
That's beautiful.
I truly believe that when you find an energy and you connect with it, it's important.
Oh
It
yeah.
doesn't mean you're going to stay with it forever, but it's a weird thing. Like I said, I never thought that I would be talking like that, but I believe in it, and,
Yeah.
and it's true. Energy is
Yeah.
an important thing for us.
Right. Yeah. It's so important. And that's a beautiful story. Seriously, like that you can provide him this like value through what you're good at, and through that you've been able to connect and have this
He
relationship.
he reminds me very often, um, and I think it's a very valuable lesson too. Like a lot of times we'll be out and about, and I mean, for crying out loud, he had me with him in the opening scene of a Jay and Silent Bob movie.
I saw
I mean, that's absolutely, we were hanging out in New Orleans for like a week,
I
looking
like
for.
recently watched that movie too, and then when I saw your post, I was like, wait, what?
If you blink, you'll miss me. But I mean, I'm in the opening scene of a Jay and Silent Bob. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, that's
That's
what
so cool. So
energy. And
cool.
I got to walk down Bourbon Street with him, and there was a point when we were walking down Bourbon Street, and it was just right at the start of Mardi Gras, and I
Mm.
stopped for a moment, and I looked around, and it was one of those moments where like who am I? Why am I here? Like
Mm.
we were going to go shoot the next morning, and I'm just like, and I stopped and I said to him, and I said, I don't mean to get emotional. I don't want to sound corny. I said, but what am I doing here? Like, how did this happen? And he said something. He said, "You have it. You may not see it, but
Mm.
and
Mm.
like we would be out at big events with Dave Chappelle, and I'd be in the corner, and he'd be like, go talk to people. Like, what are you like? You're one of us. Like,
Wow.
and it's a shame that sometimes we have to be reminded that we're the same as everybody else.
Right.
If you have something, you have it. If someone else sees it, respect it and understand it. Like I said,
Hmm.
I love watching your videos. I love the work that you do.
Thank you.
I respect it, so I say it because I know how important it is that I've heard it. If
Yeah.
if you respect someone's work, say it. What's
Yeah.
wrong? And it's an amazing thing. There's some amazing artists out there.
Seriously, it's man. I've met a couple in my lifetime, and it is a shame when you do say that to someone, and it's you can tell it's difficult for them to take it to heart, and because you know because what how like elated you feel like when you hear that from other people. So yeah, can be a sad thing, but a lot of times. could be also a happy thing, you know, if people do actually hear that and go, wow, thank you, you know,
Yeah.
or like I don't need them to say thank you, obviously, but like I'm just saying like that if that's something that lifts them up, then I feel good, you know.
Yeah.
So that's great. That makes me really happy to hear too, because I feel like a lot of times there's almost like you expect there to be this separation between, or there's this weird like implied like separation between like people who are famous and people who are like, you
I,
know,
I, I, I've been privied to be behind the velvet rope, as they say, a lot of times with Donnell. And
mm,
the one thing that I can tell you about Donnell personally is we've been around a lot of change people. I know what that, you know, we've all been around those type of people.
mm,
Donnell is, I'll tell you a quick story. It was a Father's Day show that he did at NJ Pack a couple of years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
mm-hmm,
Afterwards, I remember we were hanging out in the lobby, and there was somebody from like the, you know, everybody was pretty much getting out. It was pretty much just us. We were still hanging. We were going to go backstage. We were, you know, but that's what we were talking. There was somebody else there that he knew we were talking. And then somebody that worked there, just, you know, like an usher or whatever, they were like,
mm-hmm,
oh my gosh, my friend, she works here. She loves you more than anything. Could she get a picture with you? He was like, get the whole staff. Get the whole staff. There's a picture of Donnell with the entire NJ Pack staff because he
wow,
wanted to take a picture, and then he took individual pictures. The thing that got me was there on the way out. He said goodnight to everyone in food service,
mm,
said goodnight to security, said goodnight, and he knew everybody because on his
mm,
way in he stopped and talked to everybody.
mm,
When Dave Chappelle had the residency at Radio City, I was fortunate enough to go there a couple of nights.
wow,
Donnell knew, not only knew the names of like the people that operated the elevators, the security. He already, like by the time I got there, I think it was the fourth or fifth night. He had personal stories with them. He was joking. He knew about them. Like he's just that person. And like I said, walking down Bourbon Street in New Orleans, oh my God, somebody, it's just constant. Hey, Donnell, oh my God, Ashley, where? And he'll stop and he will talk and he will take a picture with you. And again, you bring that energy in. I mean, you can't have
right,
it. Sometimes it gets overwhelming and annoying. Sometimes you have to say no, but 99% of the time, and again, to see that, to be around that, because I had worked for a cable station back in high school, back in the day. I was a camera operator,
mm-hmm,
and I had been around. I can name some big names that we worked for, and my God, it was. I'm sure you being behind the camera too, you may have been. You
oh
see
yeah.
you see how they are when everybody's around, and then you see how they are when nobody's around.
Now, you know what's funny is it's never the people who you think are big. They think they're big.
Yes.
The people who are like actually big, in my experience, have been super cool. But like the people who are like, you know,
Yeah,
story
I,
for another time.
I've seen a lot of that. And then in my career in security, stuff like, you know, when we were on movie sets and stuff. And it was, again, I've seen the other side, but that's not, and that's why I have no problem saying I love Donnell Rawlings
Mm,
because of who he is.
right.
Forget he's the greatest comedian. To me, he's the greatest comedian, hands down. I'll argue with
Mm,
you because I've seen him more than anybody. I've
right.
seen his craft. There was one night he yelled at me because I got off stage and he was like, "What'd you do up there?" And I was like, "What do you mean what I do up there?" I had the audience laughing. I stood there the whole time. It was one of those
Mm,
nights where I was just like this. He goes, "You're one of the most animated people I have ever known." And he goes, "You stood there." He goes, "What the hell was that?" I was about to go back in the green room and smoke and forget about it. And then
mm,
I went to the back of Caroline's and I stood at the very back of Caroline's and I watched his set and I watched his eyebrows probably moved in his hour set more than my eyebrows moved within a year. And
wow.
you got to bring it. You just got to bring it.
Yeah.
And there's so many aspects to it that you bring that you may not even realize that the audience is picking up on.
Yeah.
Every move that he does, and it's never the same. And that's the
Mm,
thing I love about his comedy. Because a lot of comedians, you can go, and like I've seen comedians like 4 months apart, and it's like almost the exact same set. And I understand that they're working on it for something, but the thing I love about Donnell, I've been with him 6 shows within like a weekend or something like that, and
mm,
it's never the same set. Play
wow.
off, play off the audience. It's great.
I don't know. Do you listen to Joe Rogan's podcast at
Yes,
all?
Yeah.
I don't know if you listened to the most recent episode, but it's funny you mention all that because I was talking to Akash Singh, who's the co-host with what's his name? I can't remember his name. He's a big young Andrew Schultz.
Oh, Andrew Schultz.
Yeah. So they have like their podcast together anyway. So
His
he was talking about how he was writing for his special that just came out, and he's talking about how he would basically study comedy specials like almost like game tape for like football or something, and he would pause and like the two of them would like pause and like note down every time an eyebrow was raised, every time like somebody made a face. And they talk specifically about like Patrice. Like Patrice would sometimes wouldn't even have to say a word. He would just do something with his face, and it would and yeah, and it's a you should listen to it because I think a lot of what you're saying is like very related to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's when he started with those twist video things, I mean, he brought a whole new level to and he showed himself. He just had a post the other day about the whole Rogan thing, which I thought was
Mm,
absolutely spot on. He was dead on. If they don't get him with this, they're going to go for something else.
yeah.
If they're going to get you. It's
Yeah.
it's Chappelle right now too. If they want you, they're
Yeah.
just all the artillery they can possibly dig out. And the thing that I love about it is to watch all the backfire, to watch
Mm,
all the big names come at them, and then all of a sudden somebody starts digging up, and it's just like, listen, everybody's got skeletons in their closet. Stop calling people out when your
yeah.
closet's pretty full. It's
Yeah. I'm
hilarious.
fully with you. It's ridiculous, but like I have to tune it out. You know? I know like at the end of the day it's all gonna be resolved. It's all gonna lose steam. I feel like it's losing steam right now, obviously. But um yeah, it is what it is. And it sucks that like, our our country rather is so divided
Yeah,
and against one another, and yeah, it's heartbreaking in a
yeah.
lot of ways.
It absolutely is, and again, that was almost like I said. You, you start falling into the hole of depression, and you keep getting lower, and then you keep watching
Mm,
the news, and you keep seeing all this, and you keep seeing the
yeah.
argument, and you keep seeing people like that I know, personal friends of mine, are getting attacked, and there are things going
Mm,
on, and it's just like, okay, what can I do about this? I personally can't do much, but what I can do
mm-mm,
is what I enjoy doing is just spreading a positive vibe,
mm,
spreading good energy. If
mm,
I do that, if I can sit down and I talk to somebody again, you take the inspiration, you take all that you do. Again, like you said, I didn't. Now tell me, you talked before something about music. I don't think I knew about the music side of you. Now tell me about that.
oh, oh yeah. I I I started playing guitar in like high school, and that was honestly like I've been doing that before I even touched a camera. But like I've never been someone to uh I don't know, I just never really pursued it as like a way to make money. I've always just enjoyed like messing around with the guitar, and I think over the pandemic especially like because I had a big lapse year where or not year, but a long period of time, probably 6 or 7 years I stopped playing. And then once the pandemic hit, I started again. And not only with guitar, but I started piano and drums. I had like I used to have an electronic kit. And then most recently, I actually just I blew like $1,200 on like a a digital audio workstation with like all these samples and things, and it's just so much fun to play around with. Um,
So you're going to be tying all of this together with all your backgrounds, with everything that you do. Now you've got a lot of different. So where's all this going with you? Because I'm excited because, like I said, I see a lot of different things, and I see big things. Where are you going next, and then where are you going after that? Because I know you're going big.
well, thank you very much. I want to, with the client that I have now, I want to blow them up. I want them to get to a point where like they're like just the authority on kind of their brand on YouTube. That I see as like part of my future, not my whole future. Um, My whole future, I just want to keep exploring, and I want to work with interesting people, and I want to um, provide my services and the value that I offer to people who value it and understand like what it can mean. And that doesn't even mean sometimes that doesn't even mean, getting paid for it. Like there's a band I really like, and I've just recently like reached out to their lead singer about potentially doing like some work with. I don't know what it is, but I was just like, I want to work with you. So like, why don't we do something? Like I'm a huge fan, so like you don't have to pay me shit. Like, and he lives in Pennsylvania somewhere, so it's like, and he's down to do it. So like things like that, it's hard to say exactly um, what I want to do, but I know that now I have the freedom and the creativity, or the freedom to explore things more creatively, and I have the time to do it, and I'm really excited for that. I know that I have a valuable service to offer for the people who do want to pay for it. And I know that money is not really going to be an issue, but it's funny you kind of broke it up into two tiers because it's kind of how I see it. Like uh, for a part of me right now in the short term, I want more freedom. And step one was putting my 2 weeks in at work. And that's both for my mental health and for like just fulfillment. I had some unfortunate things happen in the last few months and some positive things as well. And that kind of reframed my whole view of everything. And right now, honestly, if I were to sum it up in the short term, I want more freedom. I want to be able to wake up in the morning and be like, I want to make a product video today. Or I want to wake up, I want to do music all day and then like not have to worry because I see my clients on like Friday or like Monday or something.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, I want a dog. I want that's it. A dog, a bigger apartment and the free and just time to create whatever the hell I want. And that's kind of the short term. And then the long term, you know, I do see that as a business and something that I want to scale, like the client side of it rather. Um, and that's a whole complex thing too that I'm working on and studying. And I'm very fortunate to have relatives who have done it before and can help kind of guide the way. But um, I want to scale to a place, and this is a very like rough goal, but I set this. I went through a really bad breakup about a year and a half ago, something like that, and it was around that time that I started to look inward and start setting goals and start being grateful for things that I had in my life. And one of the most important goals that I set that has like led to basically everything that I've experienced recently is I want to be able to help people in some way. I don't know what that looks like or what it is, but I want to help people with mental health. I want to help people, whether that's giving people perspective on why they feel a certain way, or like, like I said before, like some people have feelings and they don't explore them, that sort of thing. Um, I want to help alleviate that or give people like some kind of perspective on that um, because I've been there myself. A lot of us have, and I feel like I found a way or at least a method to alleviate or completely get out of it, and I want to share that with people. And
That
whether that's through like, I'm not a mental health professional, but like whether that's through like starting a charity at some point that helps or makes it easier rather for people to acquire mental health services or even shop around, because that's something that I think a lot of people don't realize. You're not supposed to just go to a therapist and just talk to them. It's not a therapist is a therapist is a therapist. You have to find someone like you said who has the same energy, who has the same vibe as you,
that's
who is going to help you in the style that they offer to lead you towards a place where you feel better. I mean, and or a place where you're starting to take steps towards achieving goals or whatever that may be for each individual. But a lot of people don't do that, and a lot of people give up, or a lot of people have this negative stigma on mental health, and like, or at least we're seeing that become less and less now. But it is, it's one of those things, it breaks my heart to see people really struggle, and it breaks my heart to see people who like don't realize that they have like the potential and the power within them to come out of it. And I mean, everybody does. It's just a matter of time and effort, really. And like, and that's not me saying like, oh, just like work harder, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe in that shit. But you can work smarter, and you can work in a certain direction that's proven to where like you can actually get yourself to a place where like, hey, I'm valuable. I have a skill set. That's one of the things that made me feel better, is like learning a skill, like being good at something you can be proud of. And then that's like such a big factor. And I think a lot of people don't do that, or they don't make an attempt to. You don't need to go to college for that. We have YouTube. I'm not kidding you. I learned everything I know about filmmaking through YouTube.
Let me tell you, my daughter, pretty much, we just had a conversation a little while ago too. She's been one of these YouTube addicts, and again, everything she does, she finds out stuff on YouTube, but it's amazing what you can learn. She's like doing like digital art now, and she's getting into like game design and game development. And
That's great.
What she's learning on YouTube. I don't have to send her to anywhere. I don't have to. She's learning. It's amazing. It's incredible.
Yeah, and the great thing about creativity too, or just creative people, right, is, or maybe it's, I don't know, it's an interesting thing. If you want to become, I don't know, a market analyst or something, you kind of have to have a resume that shows like what you've done, where you've worked, and this and that. But creative people, you just have to show your work. And I always thought that was interesting. Like, you just have to, whatever you create, you don't really need to have, oh, I went to this college, here's my degree. This proves that I know how to do what I do. Yeah. I can just go like, hey, I'm qualified to work at your company because I made this. Or, you need a new designer for this game that's coming out. Well, this is an indie thing that I've done. Do you like it? Like, one of the coolest things I think in the gaming space is like a lot of people who will like modify a game. They'll do mods and stuff, and then they'll get hired by the company and paid like hundreds of thousands of dollars a year.
Yeah, my daughter, she tells me all. She's like so into the gaming world. She tells me like all like these crazy stories, like you said, about like stuff like, and about the people behind the games and like what goes on, and it's its own world. And I mean, she's like so into it. And again, she's learned so much. And on her, it's amazing like what she creates. And like she showed me something the other day. It's like moving and it's animated and it's digital. And I'm like, how many hours did it take you? And she's like, it took me like 8 minutes. And I'm just like what? Like, and then like, they go through it like nothing. Like, it's like, oh yeah, you do this, you do that, you did. Okay. Like, all right.
Yeah. That I will say that's the only creative medium that I've tried that I just like, I don't think I can do it. That's the only one. I have enough other things that I do. I don't need another thing.
Well, see, that's the thing. I do all of my, photo editing and memes and everything. I do everything right here on my phone. My wife is an actual graphic designer.
Wow.
And it's funny because it's one of those things where like I'm one of those people who kind of stole work from her. I mean, listen, if you want something on Instagram that's 2 inches by 2 inches, I can do it. It's fine. If you need something for a project or you need something blown up, you need a professional. I mean, like I can make it look good when it's on your phone, but if you need that thing blown up, it's a mess because I did it on my I did it with my thumb. I created it. I mean, it looks good, but we've done a lot of stuff for a lot of people, and I got to go to my wife and I got to go. Okay, you got to hop on your Mac and you got to get this going now because I need it done professionally.
Right. Yeah, I always think that's interesting. Like, we're living in an interesting time where you don't need all that infrastructure or equipment necessarily to make something that everybody's going to see. And
Donnell and I just had a discussion about this the other day. talking about Hollywood, and Hollywood is everywhere now. Hollywood is right here. We're
Hmm.
creating Hollywood right. It's like you just said. You can create, and again, me coming out of my shell, going, you know what? I need good energy, but to get that good energy, I need to give out that good energy. And
Hmm.
something else, I want to thank you for too. We just went a couple of minutes on mental health,
Mm.
and it's not easy. It's not easy.
Mm-mm.
It's not easy for two guys to talk about mental health. You
Mm-mm.
know, and again, this stigma
It
is
should be though,
it should
because everybody deals with it.
it absolutely should be. We've all dealt with it. We've all had our ups and downs. And again, I thank you, and that's what I want this place to be. Yes, I want it to be fun here, but I want it to be honest and I want it to be true.
Right.
And if we can talk about our dark times and what we go through, and you brought up some great things of
Mm.
looking inside yourself,
Hmm.
and digging deep down. Um, if we can inspire someone or give someone that's sitting down in that hole right now,
Mm.
okay, yeah, it's the same old, yeah, but hey, these guys are doing it, so
Yeah.
why can't I? It's
I think a lot of times what happens, and I guess, this is kind of what I went through too, but a lot of it can kind of come down to feeling like people are just talking in abstractions, and it's hard to track when you're hearing it from an outside perspective. And the weird thing about it is like all of it started making sense, like all the energy stuff and all that, whatever, when I started meditating. I started taking that up pretty early in during the pandemic. I was like, oh, I might as well give it a shot. Like, let's see what I can do. And if anybody is, interested in trying, I use an app called the Waking Up app. It's Sam Harris's app. It's normally like $99 a year, but you can message the support team and they'll give you a free account because their philosophy is like, we don't want a payment to be something like a barrier that prevents you from
wow,
experiencing something this powerful. It's
wow,
really cool, yeah.
wow.
Um, but that honestly, like getting to look inward, like the whole concept of have you ever meditated?
I try.
Okay.
I've never. I can get into it. I suffer from like the worst insomnia, and I've tried meditation so many times. I'm just one of those people that just I can't stop this thing from going.
Have you tried? Well, here's the interesting thing is you're not supposed to stop this thing. The
Yes,
purpose of meditation is to fail over and over and over again.
yes.
And have you done guided at all or anything like that?
I've done a couple of guided in the past. It's been a while since I've done a
Okay.
guided. The thing that works for me best, if you've ever heard of monkey brain,
No.
where you basically, I'll lay there at night and it's basically you just breathe in, breathe
Mm-hmm.
out, and you keep saying that because your brain is just going
Mm-hmm.
to focus on whatever you're saying. So if you
Mm-hmm.
just keep on going, breathe in and breathe out, breathe. Eventually, your brain's going to go, oh, hey, you know what? Breathe in, breathe out.
Yeah.
Sometimes that works for me. But like I said, horrible insomnia, so I'm used to laying in bed at night and thinking way too much about
I
things.
got you. I've done that before too. Um, I would encourage you to try the Waking Up app. I
I
tell everybody to try it. It's really cool and it just kind of like opens your perspective up to a lot of things. Like what's cool about it is it like teaches you to use literally everything as a object of meditation rather than like a distraction. Because everybody kind of goes like, oh, it's hard for me to like just focus on my breath. And it's like he'll teach you how like you need to see the impermanence of things like sound. Like you'll hear a sound. Notice how you can't hold on to it longer than it appears. You can't anticipate when it's going to appear. It's there and it's gone. And you are like this, I don't know, it gets very like weird. I think it's a very personal experience that everybody should have. But that was kind of the first thing that kind of opened me up to just under like going like, hey, wait a minute, like there everything we experience, everything we feel goes through here. Or it happens here. The experience happens here. It doesn't happen anywhere except for in here. And so if you can master in here, if you can
Wow.
get a good grip on in here, then you can get a good grip on everything because it's
Wow.
all about subjective experience, right? Um, so I think that's the most important thing, and I think a lot of people try to control things externally, which I'm guilty of too, still to this day. But but if you can, like, self-awareness is so important, and you're able to just feel better by having it. It's like such a weird thing, but it's so valuable.
Yeah, I mean, like I know too. I spend way too much time holding on to things that I shouldn't.
Mm.
I'm beginning to realize now too how much time have I wasted being angry or upset about something that I couldn't control then. That I'm still
Mm.
letting it bother me. Why am I still letting it bother me? It's over. It's done.
Mm.
It's like you said. It's that moment. It's come. It's gone. Why am I still holding on to it?
Right.
Let it go. I can't change it. Move on.
Yeah. It's so important. And I think a great way to move on is to channel it, do it in some way. If you can't think of like a productive way to create something, write it down in a journal, write it down on a piece of paper, throw it away. Like that, it seems symbolic and kind of like spiritual, but honestly, it works. It
I've been
really does.
hearing that so much. I
Yeah.
really have been hearing that so much, and I think I really need to start doing that.
Yeah.
I really do. I've heard that from so many people, and I've always been like, yeah, I have my way of dealing with things, but I think I need to try that way of dealing with things too.
Yeah. I mean, like, what do you have to lose,
Exactly.
An hour of
Exactly.
your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, well, it's funny, like, there's journaling like that, then there's other kinds of journaling too, which are more, I guess I would say proactive. I heard this really interesting uh podcast. This guy, I think his name's Andrew Huberman. He's like a professor at Harvard or something, studies the brain. And all his podcasts are very statistics and based in studies and this sort of thing, very scientific. And I forget which one it was, but they did this study on like the most successful people, like what is happiness, like how do people, like, you always hear like people who are wealthy are never happy, like, that's not, but there are still some wealthy people who are happy, right? And what they found was something to the effect of the people who are the happiest uh, are both very grateful for their past and are constantly giving credence to their past and where they've come from and the things that they have, while at the same time setting goals for the future.
What,
And and what's very interesting about that is that it actually correlates with neurochemicals. So like the gratefulness, the gratitude is a lot to do with serotonin, and that like the that love chemical, that feeling like fulfilled, that happiness. But then for some people, it's also important for you to set goals to move forward and achieve things in your life. That's dopamine. And so like having a good balance of those two things can mean like, well, maybe you can be grateful. Some people can be very grateful and love the things that they have, but they're very resentful of people who have more than what they have. And that's people who don't really use dopamine or have like kind of, I call them dopamine traps. I don't know if that's like the right word, but people who are like addicted to video games or something like that's, you're basically just tricking your brain into thinking like, oh, I'm climbing society. I'm acquiring more resources. I'm doing better as a evolved chimp or whatever, right? But like really, you're just like you're killing people in Call of Duty and like going like getting dopamine hits.
yeah.
Um, but if you're able to set like realistic goals that like help other people or like help yourself first, obviously, and then eventually get to a place where you help other people while you're remaining grateful for what you have and where you've come from, that's how you get that perfect balance of like happy and
That,
just like looking towards the future,
that is absolutely amazing. I know my wife is on here right now. I know she's watching, and I know she's probably chuckling because she knows that I've been waiting to say this. That we pretty much right before I came on had a conversation just about that. We were discussing about
Wow.
how good this feels about me getting back into this and about the energy that I get, that I bring to the house, that we all get. But I was trying to pinpoint what is it that's making me feel good. And
Mm.
and we discussed this, and it all just clicked for me just now. I was telling her about how I was thinking about the old days.
Mm,
We've been together for 20 something years. I was, before my son got sick,
mm,
and even a lot of times through my son's sickness, we still had a lot of amazing times, and I forgot those.
mm,
I was in my hole. I was comfortable in my hole, and when you're there, you don't want to see it. It's dark there. You're
mm,
happy. You don't want to see anything. You don't remember the good. You forget about
mm,
it. It's easy to let it go. And then, like I said, I just started thinking back, and I just started thinking of all the fun, all the good things. And we've been spending a lot of time with my daughter, and that's important too,
mm.
for all of us too. A teenager, they get in that stage where they break away,
Yeah.
and I think we're at a stage where we all need to be together now.
Hmm.
And we talked to her about, like when we were dating, and it's just it brings an energy, it brings the love, it brings the joy back to
Hmm.
both, and it's an amazing thing. Like you said, that I'm really realizing now, it's probably looking back in time at when times were better,
Hmm.
um, and getting the feeling from that, and it
Yeah.
does that alone can uplift you. Just looking back on your life, like you said, we
Yeah.
get too caught up in nothing's going on now, everything is horrible, blah blah blah. Look back. Look,
Yes.
if everything is horrible right now, I don't like to look backwards at things. But if you're looking backwards at good stuff, look back at good stuff.
Yeah. And the secondary benefit of that too is your life instantly becomes longer in a lot of ways. And you no longer feel like you're fast forwarding.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think if more people did that, I always hate that saying of like as time goes on, it feels like you're fast forwarding through life. It's like, yeah, if you don't remember the past, you don't remember the good things you experienced, and you do the same thing every day, and you don't, you know, it's important.
Yeah.
It's important to reflect on the good things in the past.
I think, real again, this is I want to thank you. I think I should like pay you as a therapist for this, because I'm having like revelations. And again, too, it's my wife and I. We know we've talked to people about this. Um, we live in a post-traumatic stress syndrome every day.
Mm,
Like I said, today was one of those good days, and even a good day, there's still trauma within our day.
mm,
But like the past couple of days, and the week before that, and the shingle, and it's like you really don't want to. You get to the point where things get so bad sometimes that you don't want to think about you. All you think about is, I want to get through today. I
mm,
want to get till 10 o'clock so I can crawl into bed, lay there for a couple hours, get up and then start tomorrow. And then
mm.
it becomes that I just want to get through today, and that
Yeah.
mentality is I just want to get through today. I just got to
Mm,
get today. I just got to get. And like you said, it's everything just slows down. You,
right.
you, you may not be having good times right now, but you will again look back, get that good energy, and maybe do something. I
Mm,
said just the energy that I've been getting these past couple of days, just from so many different things that I think we're all
hmm.
making change for the better for. It's an amazing thing. I mean, I feel like I said I'm still suffering with the shingles, but I know that I mean, just everything about me just feels better.
Mm. Can I give you, as your pseudo therapist, can I give you uh, I guess kind of an exercise maybe that I think you should try. I kind of spoke to this a little bit earlier, but something that really helped me, especially in um, times where I was like really struggling. A lot of emotions, a lot of just experience in life it's momentum based. And sometimes like the worse we feel, the worse we're going to feel. It's like almost like a perpetual cycle. But at the same time, when we feel good, we usually continue to feel good. Um, and I'm not going to say it all comes down to mindset and that sort of thing, but I would recommend something uh, in terms of journaling, and it's something that I did during a really like rough time in my life. I did it for like a few months straight. So like every morning I'd wake up, I'd do like my Wim Hof breathing and take a cold shower, and then I'd sit down and let's see if I have. I thought I had my. Oh, So I have this journal here. I don't know if you're able to see this, but it's just packed full of entries. And the entries, it's actually kind of fun. So on one page, you're going to list on one page, you list all the things that you're grateful for about yourself and about your life. And you write it all out. And you just fill up the page. You can skip spaces, whatever you need to do. You don't feel like you need to come up with things. Just whatever comes to your mind. Oh, I want to write this. So write all those down, and while you're writing them, say it in your head. So like, I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful that, I have good friends like Donnell. And you write that out, and then on the next page, you're going to write your future. And this is where I lose some people, because some people go like, all right, this is it's a little weird, but you're going to write out not your ideal future. I want you to write out a fantasy future. So if you want $100,000 in a year, I want you to write that you're making $10 million or something along those lines. Get like real fun with it. Just have fun with it. I usually write like a 10-year plan, right? And you want to write it from the perspective of Andy from 10 years from now. So you're going to write like, my family and I, we live in on the beach in Mexico or something like that. Something that you care about, that's like passionate for you. Like, I'm sold out Carolines or something like that, right? Write all of it out as if you're speaking to you now from the future. And try to write the same thing every day. And you just start to see some wild shit happen. That's all I'm going to say.
No, again, had you said that to me 10 years ago, I probably would have been, listen, Greg, it's been a great chat. I got to go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would not have listened to it. Yeah. No, like I said, I have learned over these past couple of years, especially more recent too. I absolutely 100% believe in the power of speaking things into existence. You have to see your future. You have to create your future. Just like you said, go, and that, like I said, that's what I stopped doing for the past year. And again, it wasn't easy. I needed to do it for whatever reason. Blah, blah, blah. I'm back. And that's the thing, is I'm starting again. But now, like you said, I'm going to start writing it down. I've been speaking it. And then like, even like I said, like at night when I'm going through the insomnia, I would be doubting myself. Like a lot of the dreams that I would talk about, like you said, like being sold out shows, Netflix, blah, blah, blah. I was like, nah, it's just not going to happen for you. Maybe you should go low, or maybe, no, I got to start going back.
You got to go bigger.
Exactly. Go
big as you can.
And like you said, when you start speaking things into existence, they really do happen. I am absolutely amazed. My wife and I joke around it all the time. I'm connected to some pretty amazing people here on Instagram. I sometimes, like, I'll get a like or I'll get a comment, and I'm just like, how did that connection even happen? Like, millions of followers, and they're following me for, and it's just, I don't understand it. But again, you don't have to understand it. I don't need to know why. I don't know. I'm connected to them. That's it. There's a reason, there's a connection, and maybe something will come out of it, maybe something won't, but it doesn't matter. There's an energy there, and that's a good person. So that's what I'm going to take from it.
That's the stuff you write on that first page that you're grateful for. That's a great thing to be grateful for. I understand that 100%. And I will say this too, if anyone were to think that this is some like woo-woo bullshit, there is science behind it, but I'm hesitant to explain the science because sometimes I feel like it breaks the illusion. So I think you do it and just have faith in it and have fun with it. Like that's the important part.
And like I said, and again, this turned out to be a heck of a lot more than I expected. I thought I'm grateful to you. And again, this is what I want.
Absolutely.
I don't want to be afraid to have a conversation about anything. Yes, I want to keep it light. Yes, I want to have good vibes, but you're not going to get better vibes than the truth.
Yeah.
Again, if we can talk about what we've learned. And again, like I said, 10 years ago, you started that conversation about that. I would have either politely been like, okay, or I would have cut you off.
Mm.
Absolutely. I didn't believe in it. And
Mm.
I'm
Neither did
grateful
I.
that I opened my mind to things like that. And like I said, you can see it happen to people, but when it starts happening to you, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
you put it out there and it doesn't go to it, but it starts to go in the direction that you're putting out. And it's like,
Yep.
whoa, like, how is this happening?
Yep.
Connecting with,
And
like, it's, put it out there, it'll come back to you.
absolutely. And what's great about it, and I think the reason that it makes so much sense for me to write like crazy goals, right, is because maybe, I mean, probably those exact things won't happen. But the chances that you land somewhere in the vicinity, very high. Because you just start moving towards it. It just
Yeah.
starts like the stuff that I'm doing now, I wrote about a year and a half ago. I'm not making that up. I'm not selling you anything.
I believe,
There's
I,
it blows my mind. I wake up every day and I'm so happy like of what my reality is, and I'm so excited for the future, you know? So like, man, just gotta, if all it takes is like 30 minutes writing in a journal to do the shit that you actually want to do, and do it. Like, why not?
this, again, this is why I'm so glad that I finally just got off my ass and said, get back to doing this again.
Mm.
And I've always felt it's not about a person. It's about an energy. And
Mhm.
once I started to realize that I may have been around a lot of people, I may have been connected to a lot of people, working with a lot of people, but when you start to realize an energy when you connect to someone, that's a whole different thing. Having somebody,
Mhm.
a friend, a coworker, yeah, you know what, blah blah blah. When you connect to someone's energy, it's a whole different thing. And again, it feeds off of, it helps you grow, it helps them grow. And again, I know it sounds weird. I know, and I get it, and I understand.
No,
A lot
I
of people,
totally get it.
and it's just like, I don't listen to it. Listen
Mhm.
to it. Listen to. I got Donnell texting me about something now. I'm gonna have to get back to him. It's, you know, and it's always just laughter, and that's again,
Yeah.
that's the one thing that I want to get across. That we can talk about anything. We can talk about the depression. We can talk about the
Mhm.
mental illness. We can talk about everything that we go through, but we
Mm.
can laugh at it. We can find a way to get through it with humor. We can find a way to get through it with. You've brought some. Like I said, I feel like I've had a therapy session. I thought we were going to get on here. We were going to talk about some cars, videos, and some Bill Burr.
We'll do
And
that next time.
this is what I love. This is absolutely what I love. This is, you can't be afraid of this. You can't be afraid to have this conversation.
Yeah, it's so important.
What
So
the world
important.
needs more of, just bringing everyone together and sitting down and going, let's talk about it. Just talk about it. Anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're touching on a very good point too about laughter, and I think a lot of people have this idea that laughing at something or making light of or having humor about something is like it's this almost attacking thing towards whoever the subject of the joke is. And I think in reality it's more of like everyone as a group is giving levities to a situation. Everybody is, rather than an individual who's dealing with a problem that's maybe getting made fun of, rather than dealing it with them on their own and then having people thinking that like, oh, I'm laughing at your problems or something like that. It's really us saying like, oh, it's really not that big a deal. Like, we're here for you. That's what I feel like it is, you know?
And
Um,
I think a lot of people don't understand too about comedy when a comedian when most comedians
mm,
when most comedians tell a joke, that joke is something about their life. Like I said, I'll pull deep down and I'll reach some of the darkest stuff about what I've gone through with my son and what we go through.
mm-hmm,
So I think when you have a comedian that may be touching on a sensitive subject,
mm-hmm,
I don't think that comedian in particular went and said, "Hey, I'm going to go after this group," or "Hey, I'm going to,"
mm-mm.
something that they're working on inside of them.
Yeah.
I think it's something that they're dealing with, and again, a lot of people don't realize or understand that about comedy and about comedians. It's like I said, just like right here, it's a therapy thing. It's
Yeah.
not always about comedy. It's not always about getting up there and getting the laughs. A lot of times it
Right.
is, and and personal experiences with myself, personal experiences with comedians that I know.
Hmm.
I've seen people going through something like in that day that I don't know how in the world they got up on stage that night and they killed. But
Hmm.
when I turned from the audience for 1 second to take a break and I was standing side, you could see the pain. But it
Right.
doesn't matter because they're going to take that deep breath. They're going to turn around. They're going to go back out there. They're going to absolutely kill it. And when it's over, they're going to sit down and they're going to have gotten a lot of stuff out too. So
Yeah.
it's, you're not, a true comedy. True comedy. I've said this so many times. True comedy never comes from hate. Never comes from hate. There have
Very
been
true.
there have been times I've done things, and Donnell and I we've worked on things, and there have been times that I've questioned, been like, whoa, and he's been like,
Mm.
you thought of it. What did you think of? And when I
Mm.
place, then there's no hate to it. There's nothing other.
Right.
If you thought of it, when you thought of it, if you thought, okay, this may, then it's wrong. But if you thought of it, if it was funny, if you laughed about it, and then it was a little bit later on, you go, then don't become the masses. If it came from a place of humor, and that's what it
Yeah.
was. It is.
I think that's you nailed it. And it is such a weird art form because the nuance of it and the speed at which it comes out and how quickly the intent or the perceived intent rather of something can change like that.
Yes.
There's a moment in this podcast when you listen to it where he talks about when he analyzed a joke that Patrice had that was about something along like you can tell how something like I'm gonna butcher it. You can tell how pretty a white woman is by how quickly they try to find her when she's missing
Oh,
or
yes.
something like that.
Yes, I know that, but that's oh God.
And he analyzes it down to like the word and the action that he takes. And it's because of the actions that he and like the little tiny things that he does
Yes.
in like the 3 seconds that follow that premise that like solidify the intent and just remove him. I think you earlier you said like Donnell said to you like they need to love you to hear that joke, and that's in those 3 seconds he makes the audience love him, and then he's able to proceed. It's wild when you break it down like that. So
He oh my gosh, he was one of a
oh,
kind.
he's
Really.
fantastic.
Oh my gosh. Oh, if you know his ex, I mean his wife,
Hmm.
Von Carlo, follow her. She is absolutely hilarious. Also,
I will.
she's got his sense of humor, and she keeps it going, and it's great. And I love when they do the Patrice, memorials
Oh
with
yeah,
Bill and everybody.
yeah.
Those are hilarious. I mean, I always wonder how like a Patrice would be during a time like this. I always
So
wonder
do I.
how a George Carlin would be during a time like this.
Yeah,
A Greg Giraldo. It's like you always like wonder like some of the greats like what would they be doing at a time like this?
yeah.
How would comedy be? And it's just like the world misses that. It's oh
I so badly want to. I wish I knew. I mean, like, I feel like most people know what Patrice would be like. But yeah, man, I listened to hours upon hours of him on Opie and Anthony back in the day, and he is sorely missed
yeah.
for sure.
I just recently connected with Opie, and I'm actually going back and forth with Opie and sending him some stuff. And
Cool.
like okay, like again, like wow, I don't know. It's I don't know how it happened.
That's
It's
cool.
fun, and I'm honored by it. And I mean, it's just great to be connected with so many people who have made me laugh and have helped me through dark times.
Yeah.
I can be a part of something with helping make people let. And again, that's like I said, and I'll say it a million times, making somebody knowing that you made someone laugh,
Mm.
biggest feeling in the world.
It's so important. I did have one last question for you, actually.
Sure.
What was the Breakfast Club like?
That was an me tell you, we did. I was with Donnell. We went to the Breakfast Club, and then we did Sway in the Morning with Heather B, who I absolutely love. Um, that was, and again, like I said, who am I? I get to go on radio press with Donnell.
Yeah.
I get to sit in the studio. The I love the way that it's played out. I love the way that it looks. Like Donnell really like hates them and despises. I mean, he loves Angela, Charlemagne and Envy. We go at them. We go at them hard. And
I
you
know.
you should see some of the stuff that Donnell just sends to them.
Oh
They're
my God.
so much more. I mean, that's another thing too. Eventually, someday there'll be a book of all the stuff that we never put up.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
Let me tell you, for every one thing you see up, there's probably 10 more things that didn't go up because of it may offend somebody, and we don't want to deal with that. And
Right.
again, we're here for the laughter.
Yeah.
And I've realized that too. We've done some stuff, and I've leaned on him sometimes, like, hey, and he's just like, no, somebody may look at that, and there may be a little hurt to that. And once you bring that up, then it's like, no, I don't want to hurt anybody. That's
Right.
not something I ever want to do with comedy.
Yeah.
Again, fortunately, comedians do it by, again, not by mistake or not by malicious intent. The joke came from a place in their heart. Like you said, it can come out fast. It can come out an audience. Somebody could be taping it. Next thing you know, and then when you look at it the next day, you go, yeah, that doesn't look so good. I understand where it came from. I understand my intent for it, but it doesn't look so good.
Yeah.
And it wasn't malicious. There was nothing wrong with it, but it may get you in trouble. So you do. I hate to say that there should ever be any censorship on comedy. But for me personally, I don't ever want to hurt anybody. And I know that I think that goes for all comedians. There are some comedians out there that tell some hurtful jokes. But again, if I've my wife and I, we go to see like Anthony Jeselnik, and if you get through a Jeselnik show, I've seen people walk out of Jeselnik shows, and when I tell you, I'm like I said, he makes jokes about wheelchairs. He makes jokes about deaf people. This is all stuff that is personal to us, and it's some of the best damn therapy we could ever have. Sitting there and we're laughing, and it means more to us than maybe somebody else. Somebody else may be like, should I laugh at that? And I'm going, oh my God, please laugh at that, because I truly understand the humor of that.
Yeah.
That's my life.
Wow. I think, you nailed it. That's a great way to put it.
Greg, I cannot thank you. Like I said, I thought we were coming on here for 20 minutes and we were going to talk. We were going to talk this and we were going to talk that. This turned into, again, what I want to do more of. Life.
Same.
That's it. That's what it is. It's life. There's no plan, no whatever. Let's come on here. Let's talk about your day. And that's you have dropped some amazing gems here, and I thank you for that. It's sharing that.
Thank you for having me. I want to do this again, definitely in the future.
We absolutely are going to. I think you should have your own show.
In due time.
You have it. Let me tell you, that's definitely one of your stepping stones. Definitely. Has that been written down yet? If not, you better write that down tomorrow.
You're right. I probably should. Yeah, I will.
Right, and I believe I'm writing down tomorrow too. I'm definitely going to hit you up tomorrow. We're definitely going to chat more about a lot of things that we were talking about.
Absolutely.
Definitely have some ideas for you too about some things that we've discussed in this house.
Oh, awesome. I can't wait to hear them.
Battery, pause for a second. I'm back. Okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Again, I truly appreciate this more than anything. And
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate it too.
Look forward to working with you more in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Andy. Have a good night.
And laughter. Thank you.